Ah,
Eek, we're live.
we're live.
Oh no!
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Come on in. I'm running to Facebook right now as we speak. I can change my silly page around.
Just like that, the baby starts screaming again.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
It's better than having a cat in heat. I'll tell you that.
Fair. That's a whole different ballpark.
Oh, we're getting there fixed on Monday, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. Come on in, everybody. We see you out there. We know you're there. Devil Flyers in the house at 1:30 this morning. Says, hey, guys. Yeah, Mike Jimmy, of course, is in here this morning. Says, hail the mighty chat. Devil
All
Flyer.
2 of you.
Says, hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike.
I don't know why they came
3 times is
out
a charm.
3 times when I posted it, but it did.
Yeah.
It's all good. Come on in, everybody. We're taking a look at Contract with God this morning. At the last half of it. Get a little Eisner on, and we'll see how it goes. A little bit of opening here, and then we'll get underway.
Holy shit. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
In the time before Atlantis sank and the lands of the world were savage and untamed, one man would claim his destiny. Leaving his Atlantean tribe behind and throwing off the shackles of Lemurian bondage, he sailed the seas as a pirate captain before seizing his place as a king. And now that he has the throne, how long will he be able to keep it? This is the Shadow Kingdom, the classic sword and sorcery tale by Robert E. Howard, adapted by Randy Zimmerman, with artwork by Russ Leach. Available now at funmycomic.com. Right now.
Right now.
Why don't you
Right
drop
now.
a link in the chat?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get it. Buy it. Own it.
I can dump that link in the chat.
Own it.
Do it now.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Come over to the dark side of the force.
Exactly. Links in the chat probably 3 times. So, hey, there we are.
It's
Oh,
indeed
look,
in it
Randy
3
Zim's
times.
here.
So good. Yeah, Randy Zim's in the house. Hey.
Did
Hey,
you
folks,
just wanna
I am your...
shorten it?
What? Go
Did
ahead.
you just want to shorten your name? I mean, you're Randy Zim in the chat, and you're Randy Zimmerman here.
Yeah, I get tired of the man. So a lot of my commercial work I just sign as Zim. So
Okay.
That's a cool
Randy
sign
Zim.
off.
Emperor
Yeah.
Zim.
what's that? You get that Zorro Z working? Because
Yeah.
I don't do a cursive Z. I just don't. I think it's ugly looking, and I'm not a fan. So
You should do 2 characters, Zim and the Erman.
yeah, I already have a monkey. So hey,
I'm
folks.
pretty sure Zim would create copyright infringement, but
Yeah, well, I tell everybody that between Spank and HeroBot, I'm all over my comics. So that's all me.
Oh my gosh. I hope I translated that wrong.
Yeah, you did. It's you always write what you know, and Spank's my my inner voice, and
Oh God.
HeroBot's a lot of time my outer voice. So wife says ever since I woke back up from my little health scare, I've been grumpier. So I says I'm not grumpier, I'm just older.
Were you frozen in an iceberg for 50 years?
Almost. I had COVID. I had double
Uh-huh.
pneumonia. It was COVID on the respirator for 6 weeks and died twice. So
Wow.
they brought me back. They don't know why I'm here. They sent me around to all the doctors after I got up and around. I beat the physical therapists and their trajectories as to me getting better. And I just, my big fight was just to get back to normal and get back to doing comics. So
Did it affect
go-
your breathing, your lungs?
not at all. I was real lucky.
Awesome.
As far as I know, it hasn't affected me at all, except for the scars that I've acquired.
Yeah, you look at Luke Stone and some
I got-
others. Doc Blaylock, he lost some of his
So much.
breathing.
Yeah.
So-
So much more lucky. So
It never got in my lungs, but it really hit me hard.
yeah. I got a scar here now that apparently I got when I was fighting to get on the respirator, not to get on the respirator, and they ended up drugging me out really, really good. So I traveled.
It's like,
I
let's
traveled a
go
lot of
back.
places in my head, between October 13th and about November 22nd.
I bet you did. Yeah.
I traveled
too.
for months all over
Alice
the
in
country.
Wonderland,
Mhm.
Oz, all those places.
Yeah,
Stopped at
speaking
Disney World.
speaking
did all
about
sorts
your
of
head
things.
there, Randy,
Yeah.
you were like saying you're in your head you're Spank, and then you're also saying that you beat off the nurses.
And
No,
said
no, no.
something about a monkey.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
It
There
just had
was,
to go there, didn't it?
Had to, yeah.
He took it there.
Yeah.
Folks, you go over to arrowcomics.store. You can see a lot of my recent work, like The Fool, Paragon, Calico Shard, and most especially HeroBot, which is my little cartoon robot that I do primarily myself. And I've been working with Russ on the Shadow Kingdom and on Comics Unlimited. The last 5 or 6 issues all has articles from me, mostly about the history of Arrow Comics. So go over there and enjoy those books. We hope that Glenn's doing okay this morning. He says he's got to take a little break and get some artwork done. So
Yeah.
Important.
we do appreciate everybody that's here. And like I said, we're looking at Contract with God. Also joining me this morning is Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Hi there, my name's Russ Leach. I am a comic book artist from the UK. You can find out all about me and my books and the stuff that I've done for people like DC, Marvel, Marcosia, Panini, all the rest of them at russleach.com. Sign up for the email list and bag yourself a copy of the Shadow Kingdom over at fundmycomic.com.
We are also joining us is Mike Jimmy. Mike Jimmy, introduce yourself.
Good morning, folks. I'm Mike Lebrand, creator of Lava Cora and CEO of Resonance. Creator from the Netherlands. Been making comics for over 5 years now, for quite a while. Hanging out with these guys because they're fun, and be sure to check out Lava Cora over on Kickstarter and Fund My Comic coming May 1st. So if you want to throw more money besides to the Shadow Kingdom, throw some at Lava Cora too. It makes it.
There you go. Also joining us this morning is Mr. Whiskey. Whiskey, introduce yourself.
Hi there, I'm Whiskey O'Connell. I'm the lead creative director for Bandit Ricochet. We do 3D modeling for production, spin casting, injection molding, any kind of casting that you want, 3D printing, and so on and so forth. And if you ever need anything made, just contact me there at the bottom left on Twitter or for X, I guess, or formerly known as Twitter.
There we are. Levi is in the house. Good morning, all. Good morning, Levi. Hope you're doing well. Also joining us this morning, Mr. Rex. Rex, introduce yourself.
Rex Christian, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Yes, you
Yeah.
can create comics anywhere. I have a character called Devil Flyer up on Find My Comic right now. This was an art drop by someone I've been working with that's also working on Melvin for Timothy Olsen.
Yeah.
It's always good to get stuff in the mail.
Yeah. Nice stuff.
And you can find me daily on the 4 o'clock shadow on YouTube. That's 4 Central in the United States. We have fun.
Talking about stuff.
Talking about stuff, comics,
Yeah.
collectibles, all kinds of stuff.
Great. Let me knock my name down here. Get rid of that long-winded, crazy name. There we are.
Period.
Got to put something there. It won't take it. Contract with God, folks. A graphic novel by Will Eisner. Contract with God and Other Tenement Stories. We left off in the middle of the book, part 3.
This is part 2, though, technically, in the stream.
Yes, part 2, but it's part 3 in the book. You see it all right?
Yeah.
Good.
I guess.
Yeah, no, looks great.
The super.
Oh,
Earthquake.
There we are. Just a small readjustment.
Look at the
The
archway
tenement
there.
was like
Sorry,
a
go ahead.
passenger ship anchored in a sea of concrete. In its bowels lived the captain. He was called the super. Nice brickwork here. Looks worn.
Again, look at the way he's using the text within the image itself.
Yeah.
So not so much the tenement stuff down the bottom, although that is obviously integral, but the way the super is built into the wall, super stuff.
Like a sign just kind of hanging between the archway.
Yeah.
It's showing he's part of the structure of the building. Yeah. With the little shadow work here. Great stuff.
Anyone know how long it took him to create this work?
No, I'm not sure at all.
Like the
It's
page?
done
Or
in-
the...
Oh, like the book.
Done in 78. This is the first printing from December of 78.
We need is Charles to come through time and then pop in for a second and tell us after he looks it up in the future.
Yeah, Charles would probably know.
Body posture. Says a lot.
I know he started doing a graphic novel a year. He's kicking one out about a year, every year. Mr. Slugs, when you going to fix the hall steps, what kind of building you running? Huh? Nobody really liked Mr. Scuggs.
He looks the part.
Yeah. Mr. Levinsky, and I'll decide when things need to be fixed. I think they were a little afraid of him. Why? Who knows? It's like Will right there.
Looks like R. Crumb.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, that's a face.
There's a face. Perhaps what they didn't know that led to fear. Tenant Tui. Back in Germany, things is different. They have respect. Yeah, nobody talks like that to the super. So someday we will have discipline here too. Yeah, it's coming.
So he's an old soldier, eh?
Old soldier from Germany, apparently.
Well,
Look at that. That line was. Oh, he was the landlord's man, the enemy.
The way he's done it, it's almost like he's taking a shower.
Yeah.
mhm.
Like that. This job was not an easy one.
He's not afraid to have space on the page, is he?
No.
Just blank.
No, at all. No.
Well, what I think this is coming from is he just got off doing some paperback books at the time, which is a smaller size than this. So I think this work was originally intended to be paperback, and they just blew it up to a larger size. The publisher did, in order to be more readable. So a lot of the lettering here is super large, compared to normal comic lettering. Shut up, Mrs. Farrell. Stop knocking on the pipes. Mrs. Farrell, I know you ain't got hot water. I just started up the boilers. Yeah.
Shut up.
He's not racially tolerant.
Of course not.
Sorry about that. It's an old super.
I don't think he's tolerant to anything.
Yeah, probably.
About racially tolerant.
What you knocking on the pipes for? I ain't letting you in. What's that dog, Scugs? Look at that.
No, what lighting on the top right there.
Yeah.
You get to learn about the tenets of the building through him, don't you?
Yeah.
And the environment around him, the actual building. Not only his relationship with the others around him.
Yeah, he gets back to his room. He's got nudie pictures pinned up all over the wall.
Well, we know what he's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what you have around you is
Oh, look at those
very
lines.
telling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The left-hand page is so bold, it's just jumping. And then those lines in that dream sequence on the bottom right, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It was an old soldier, so it's not surprising he's got the pinups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had to have something on the field.
Losing himself in his drunk dream. Just a swirl to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Somebody up there laughing at his. Suddenly there's a little girl in his room.
Only mildly concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
You think you just throw her out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Got a devilish look on her face.
It may be Linda Blair.
Oh, I believe he's probably dreaming. It's a nickel? Okay. For a nickel, get one look. It's enough. Gimme.
Could you produce this today and not come under scrutiny?
Probably not.
Probably not. No.
No, you're not allowed to say anything or do anything without being accused of being the thing that you've said and done.
Yeah.
That's this whole sort of you know, gay men can only play gay men or whatever it might be, and the flip side of that is you can't write in and do anything or create anything because all the elements around it are not taken into account. It's literally just, oh well, you've written about a Nazi, that makes you a Nazi.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous.
What if you titled it "Letters from Prison"?
It doesn't matter.
That would be the only way you could get away with it. Right?
It doesn't matter. It's context. No, so many people refuse to take context into account anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't take context into account, therefore you can't do anything that effectively you're illustrating about. It's not you. You're acting or you're creating or you're imagining. No. That must be you. So yeah, that's what's going on.
When you, I guess it's how it's done, but do you feel sort of led on and tricked if it's a dream sequence?
I don't think this is a dream sequence. She just poisoned his dog.
Right. Good for her.
Some candy. He took his money box and ran.
So he's a creeper, and then he played on her, whatever.
She played on him.
Yeah, and then stole his money.
Stole his money, killed his dog. Yeah.
Well, the dog thing sucks, but I guess the rest is good. I don't know. The whole thing's strange.
Yeah.
Strange is the
tenement
word.
tale.
Yeah.
This is based off of Eisner's personal experiences. So this might have happened in his tenement building.
It may have been the girl that told him the story. They might have been close to the same age.
Mm.
You don't know.
You never know. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's in pursuit of the girl. He's a little mad. He's pulling out. Is he getting a gun? Can't see it, but he's got there. He's got something. Going after her, kicking the door in. Yeah, he's got a gun. So if you hit me, I'll tell on you. Rosie's, what's going on down there? All in the alleyway. Everybody's drama box.
Suddenly, everybody's coming together to chastise him when they were scared of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steamy don't send up but little Goyles he beats up. Look at that kid, you animal. Help. Call the police. Somebody, the super is killing Rosie.
He is limber because he's on his tiptoes.
Yeah.
Standing.
Yeah. He's got the moves.
He's good. He's going to start moonwalking in a sec.
Shot here, all line work. Yeah.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing that he goes from sort of a mid shot to close up to long shot.
Mm.
Yeah. So he pulls that camera back to show the alleyway. Sorry about that again. Now he's devastated.
Where'd the gun go?
Still in his
His
hand.
Oh,
left
he's
hand?
still got it.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Now get out, you dirty animal.
Is he burning
Pretty
his
much.
dog, cremating his dog in the furnace? Is that what
No, I
he's
think
doing?
he's stoking the boiler there to send heat up.
Okay.
Maybe he's had an epiphany.
I'll burn him out.
He's
Yeah.
devastated. That's what he is.
Maybe he should just throw himself in the oven.
Possibly.
Ejected with the shadow work there.
Range of emotions.
Yeah.
Going back to Mourner's dog.
You almost feel sorry for the crumb.
Yeah, he's well.
Yeah.
He's deleted himself.
No one comes in here. This is my room. I'm the super here. Break it down, flattery. Stand back, everybody. Blam. Ooh, guess he took himself.
Yeah.
It's quite it's very emotional actually, that left hand page where he's hugging the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
In pain.
there's so much in it as well, because like you dislike the character because he's mean and he's horrible, and a bit grimy, and then you see that he can have emotion just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
And that's where you start talking about bullies and why they bully and what's happened to them. And this guy's obviously been through some serious crap.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And you
he's
got to
topped
wonder
himself.
if he's haunted by the
Yeah,
memories.
that's a sad story.
Yeah, at first you're not 100% sure he's a bad guy. Then he is a bad guy, and then he's a bad guy with feelings.
Yeah, then you feel sorry for him. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a hell of a story. Yeah.
Mm.
All in about, what, 15 pages maybe? Yeah.
She's a horrible human too. Like, they're all of them.
Yeah. It's incredibly evil.
Yeah, it just goes to show that doesn't matter what you look like, whether you're a pretty little girl, or a pretty child, or a big dumpy old git like that.
Yep.
The range of human emotion sort of goes through everyone.
It's almost like a Twilight Zone
Yeah, yeah, it is
Story.
a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's look at that work on the right hand page. It's gorgeous.
Mhm.
But look, I mean, these pages. They're not full of panels.
No.
And
It's
look
the
how
beat.
much story he's got over
Yeah.
in such a few pages
With not a lot of dialogue.
with not a lot
No.
of dialogue. No, and when you look at some modern comics, which are just like dialogue heavy, because and I think the problem is this is that a lot of writers aren't actually writing comics.
No, they're really not.
They're writing stories that they prefer were films or books that just happen to be in comics, and then the artists are driven into making sure that
Well,
it works through the story, and
Um,
too much dialogue, too much tell not show. It's awful for comics.
I mean, it's actually what I find. A lot of writers just don't understand the comic format that
Mm.
deeply because they just don't draw, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take one of my own writers for as an example here. And she's a phenomenal writer. I love what she does. I mean, I made her stories. So yeah. But on average, on the first time that I get a script from her, there are about 15 panels showing just eyes and their emotions.
Mm.
Usually with dialogue in there as well.
Mm.
I have to cut her down every
Yeah.
single time. Like,
Mhm.
and like it's because she's used to writing prose.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's right. Yeah.
It's hard to, especially if you don't have an artistic background. It's really hard to be able to translate your prose mindset to a comic scenario.
Mm.
Mhm.
But that's the thing is that you hear so many people say, "Oh, comics are just like storyboards." No, they're not.
No,
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 not at all.
And
Yeah.
I've done both, and I can tell you that although there's an awful lot of stuff as a comic book artist, okay, there's an awful lot of transferable skills
oh yes,
that go from one to the other, a huge number. But
Mhm.
actually producing them is a whole different ball game as far as
Yeah.
direction, what you put in, how you show things. In the comics are more dynamic, or they should be more dynamic
Yeah.
than storyboards are. And
Mhm.
I saw a post the other day, and there was someone going on about the fact that they felt that if there were too many panels without any script in, that they were in some way the buyer of the comic was being cheated. And it's like I can't imagine a
No.
more ignorant view of what a comic book is about than that perspective. That's all from the
Absolutely.
writer wanting to put more of the written word onto the page rather than and he was met with comments saying, "Look, you have silent panels. It's show don't tell. This is a comic. This is not a novel."
Yeah.
And it completely got the wrong end of the stick in my view of what a
Mhm.
comic is about and how it's created and how it presents itself to a reader.
Yeah.
But there you go. And this, coming back to what we're talking about here, Eisner is such a master. He's a master of everything, and there's not many people in the creative in the comic book history that has been such a master of everything. Do you know what I
for
mean?
sure.
It's
Absolutely.
like you look at the greatness of Kirby and how he created and the styling and all the rest of it,
Mhm.
and the storytelling. But I still think that this has the upper hand on the storytelling aspect.
Yeah.
He has everything in this. He can letter, he can pencil, ink, and also he tells the story completely. So the script and the art is not two things melded together. It's one thing.
Yeah, very much
And
so.
and this, it's rare to see that in comic books for all of us. It's
Yep.
just a really, really difficult thing to do. But Eisner does it and nails it every time.
Mhm.
One thing, especially the younger viewers need to keep in mind, is this book was done in '76, and at that point, it was primarily superhero stories in comics, sitting in the racks. This is before, slightly before the direct market even started up. This is really the first slice of life graphic novel that was ever done, where somebody's showing their experiences. So and life obviously in the city and in the tenement was really hard, very rough. So you're getting a lot of raw emotion put down here on the paper by somebody who's, at the 70s, he's been doing this for 30, 40 years at this point, producing the spirit sections, working with the government, doing instructional manuals, starting off doing comic strips and comic books, with a large studio. So he's literally done it all at this point when it comes to comics. He's invented more conventions and tropes with the sequential art than anybody probably ever has or will. So you're seeing that this is a very powerful personal work for him. And even here at
And
the end,
he probably went through the Depression, right?
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he saw that. He didn't take anything for granted.
No.
A lot of people that didn't go through the Depression take a lot for granted, and that times can get tough and they can be desperate. And he saw the ups and downs of the comic. I mean, even Kirby struggled, and Joe Simon and others struggled in the 50s and different periods in their careers just to feed their families, doing what they wanted to do or felt like they needed to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he did too. He had studios that opened and closed. And
And that final panel capping the story here, with he doesn't have to go out and point out to you that there's now a sign in his window saying "Super Wanted." As the little girl sits on the steps and counts his money out of the money box that she stole.
It's a
Wow,
dark story.
Very dark story.
Oh yeah.
Just beautifully rendered here. I always had a problem with bricks for the longest time, where to stop, where to start. And here he's got it, so beautifully done. He knows how to keep the image contained, not overblow it with too much detail.
And in 3D modeling, there are two ways to do bricks. You can do like a pre-used pattern, which kind of always looks like garbage in the end, unless you like tweak it. And I don't know, it's still, to me, it always looks kind of like flat and useless. Or you can model the bricks individually. And that usually gives you the best results.
Yeah.
And it takes forever.
Wow, individually modeling bricks. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I feel sorry for you if I have to do that.
Yeah, no.
Oh boy.
The last model I did was this bridge, and it had like 2,000 some odd bricks on it. I didn't individually model each one. I obviously I copied the bricks and then laid them out in patterns, and then modeled like a few of them. But I moved every single brick on the thing.
Glenn says Will is showing that not everything is as it seems in life. He's showing the evil in everyone, even a pretty 10-year-old girl.
Hey, Glenn. Good morning.
Well, that's the thing.
Morning,
Kids are
Glenn.
evil.
Morning, Glenn.
Morning, Glenn.
Kids are evil.
There are evil for evil's sake, but often there's a backstory to all evil.
Oh yes, for sure.
Like bad parenting or what have you.
Well, I mean, you have Doctor Doom, Magneto. They have their own. I mean, your hero is only as interesting as your villain.
Yeah. When at last winter relaxed its imprisoning grip, summer arrived and life oozed from inside the tenements into the streets. The new freedom of movement gave the tenants' lifestyle a new audience.
I'm going to take up.
Goodness.
I'm going to take up Glenn's spot here. Look at that lettering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Just superb.
Those buildings.
All that detail here. Yeah, it's
That's
beautiful.
impressive.
Gorgeous 2-point perspective.
And then dropping the detail back, farther back you go. Thinner lines.
Mhm.
Everything's focused.
He's offset the actually I'm not positive on that one, but he's offset the front two buildings from the rest.
Yeah, he did.
And he took the time to do a pigeon coop up on top of this roof here.
Russ, you're probably a little more familiar with this. Can you do like a curved 2-point perspective and curve your lines?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
suppose that's like fisheye.
Like
Just
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
2-point.
With
Yeah.
like a French curve tool, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, you could do that.
Curve tool and a little bit of stunning of MC Eicher.
Mhm.
Figured out.
Yeah, Glenn says, "Good morning, chaps."
Morning, Glenn.
Good morning.
Chops.
Bad parenting is an easy excuse. Russ will get this. Myra Hindley's sister wasn't a
Oh.
killer,
Yeah.
but she snared the same parents and environment as her evil sister.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think some people have got it in them.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
No doubt.
But then still, environment does make a difference.
Oh yeah. 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 It's nurture and nature. It's not just one
Oh, yeah.
thing. But I think some people are driven to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in them,
Communications became easier between the tenants. A new status developed. The vacationers. Going to a is that Cookaline?
Kookaline.
Cookaline? Again this year. Fanny, have I got a choice? We're going to Fiegel's farm up in the mountains. Yeah, getting away. Some tenants it's time to harvest the yield for a year of doing without. Fanny, you're a wonder. I could put together $75 on what I bring in. Oh, else 2-day-old bread, yesterday's milk, and hand-me-down clothes from my sister's kids. If I left it to you, we'd have nothing.
Mm.
What are we going to do this summer, Ma? As a kid, we always looked forward to the 2-week vacation, heading up north and
Camping.
Are you talking about yourself, Randy?
Yeah. You'd go up into northern Michigan. Dad would never drive out of the state because he said there was too much to see here. It's just his excuse, so he didn't have to drive any farther. You go up in the upper part of the lower peninsula and camp out next to a lake or something.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
state park. You're not going to hang around the streets this summer with those rotten kids. So where are you going? Where are we going, Ma? We're going to the country. Now go to bed.
Do we tell?
It's a cookaline. It's a hotel. Yeah. Where your mother does the cooking herself. You only get a room to sleep in. It's like a B&B, huh? No.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
a room to sleep in. That way it's cheaper than in a regular hotel. Now, go to sleep, Petey.
Yeah, okay. So it's probably from, it is from German. Coke allein.
Okay.
So cook alone.
I'd never run across the word before.
No, this is a new one for me as well. But I guess it's an older word that doesn't get used anymore.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Dave says, can someone who is good and wants to be good be nurtured to become evil?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Under the right
Yeah.
circumstances, anything is
Yeah,
possible.
because then without getting too deep into it, if you look around the world at the moment, there's plenty of people that are brainwashed into doing stuff that,
Oh yeah.
you know,
They think they're doing good.
yeah,
the
or that
radicalization is a thing.
The end justifies the means or whatever. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's been going on for an awful long time.
long
You know?
time. Yep.
We've been burning witches for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that kind of radicalization is definitely a real thing.
Guten Morgen, Nebi Hicker.
Exactly. Gesundheit.
Look at that.
Yeah. No, I'll keep to Dutch. It's hard enough as a language.
A little bit more involved with the panel work on this one.
Yeah, a bit more. Yeah.
It's like that next to last panel or the last panel of the last story. There's all the story is right here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Why break it up into individual panels when you can do it yourself? You know, it's one big scene. That's one big stage right there. It's like an establishing shot too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all throughout the book, you get a sense that environment is just as important, if not more so, than the individuals. The individuals could be
Right. Yep.
swapped out,
Mm-hmm.
slightly altered, but where the staging of it is so
Yeah.
important.
Yep.
Is that the same girl that was the what's what you call it? The Shiksa of the original, one of the first characters in the book? Yeah.
Here? I
That
don't
one.
think so. It's somebody that looks like her.
He worked in a little backwards lettering there.
That's the back of the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pinkus furs. So he doesn't have to, you don't have a caption box here. You don't have a, life is over at the fur shop or whatever. Let's go visit Pinkus Furs or anything like that. You know it is by reading that door backwards where you're at. And the little mannequin, half mannequin here
Mm-hmm.
that they're working on.
It's a really, I guess, like an isometric kind of like 2-point. You get a lot of information in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, it's like a real establishing shot, but your entire story is moving here. And it's like you're getting 4 panels, but it's all, on this splash page.
And the way they cut every scene in there with just an invisible line is incredible.
Oh, it's not invisible. It's right there at the edge of the door.
Yeah, no,
Right
but but like
An invisible gutter is what you're trying to say.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Very much
Economy
so.
of line, economy of dialogue, economy of
Everything.
really illustration. There's not much waste in all of this.
And yet there's so much thought put into the composition.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
The
even-
lettering up above, setting the 2 scenes, and then your eye coming down, seeing where you're at, moving down
And
here
what's
to this.
so compelling, you got to wonder, okay, is this, were these stories told to him and this is his mind's eye view, or was he actually present to witness some of this? I imagine it's probably the latter.
He said it was a little of both at the introduction we read yesterday or last
Okay.
week, I should say.
Okay, I missed that part. Sorry.
Yep, it's all experiences that he's gone through or seen or know of with his life growing up in the tenements.
That That almost looks like Sergio Aragonés in that last panel with the woman turning around over her shoulder speaking. It looks very
Yeah.
cartoonish.
I like the way in this one he uses in his composition the silhouette or the black or the dark shadows to kind of like
Mm-hmm.
drive you back into the image, so you take it like a double take.
Yep.
He's female and his face almost like Tim Mooney a little bit to me, which Tim Mooney may have been influenced by his work.
Probably.
I'm sure.
So many people have been. Yeah.
Hey, Slimmin. Hey, S. Quinn. Hey, Dave.
Once that skin shipment. Let's see. Nude Nud Najink me. That's cool.
Is that like a wash? Is that gray toning where you pointed like on the car and the?
That's all line work.
It's all line work
Yep,
that
it's all brush
appears,
work, line work. Yep.
Appears gray on the page. Okay.
Yeah. Back here too. This is all lines. Here.
It almost has a blue effect from the way it looks here, you know.
That's probably my silly camera. It's all like it's printed a very dark brown on tan paper. So yeah.
Look at that second and fourth panel, just like a fly on your ceiling looking down.
Yeah.
I wish I had that car.
Yeah.
That's when cars had style.
Yeah.
Had character. Now we drive shuttlecrafts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tasteless, odorless. I imagine he was trying to encapsulate in this art the sights, the sounds, the smells, all the sensory perception that he had as a kid.
I see a whole lot of Gene Colan here.
What part of that reminds you of Gene Colan?
Just in the composition and the way that the panel is. Gene used to do this a lot, especially in his later years. His Nathaniel Dusk work has a lot of this kind of feel to it.
Also, the length and the shading of the line.
Yeah.
It's got that.
Now, the Dust stuff, was that a detective story? I remember that. That was through Eclipse, I think.
No, it was DC.
Oh, was it DC? Okay.
DC printed that. I think it was an 8 or 12 miniseries, and it was shot off of his pencils.
And what was the character Dusk? Was he a detective or?
Yeah, he was a private eye.
Okay. Thought he was. Yeah.
I want to say Don McGregor wrote it, but I'm not positive.
I think you're probably right on that. Yeah, when it comes to Gene Colan, I think like exaggeration.
I always see Colan as being very cinematic.
Oh, very cinematic, yeah.
But he's not afraid to bend his camera, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I think I read an interview with Stan Lee one time where he said is going to have the guy open the door, and he looks at the artwork, and there's this unbelievably great picture of a hand grabbing a doorknob that, normally it's like an everyday thing, but Gene made it look, like a dynamic picture of wonder, Who is this with a wrench? Nice queen. Morning, Sim.
She's over in the
Sim
UK
in the
with
house.
you.
Yeah. Can't stick around. Got to hit the sack.
He's probably been
have a great
gaming.
stream,
He games
Thank you so
a lot.
much. Yeah. Yeah. Nice of you to stop by. Glad you're here. We got an
Indeed,
amazing,
indeed.
we got a great audience for this early in the morning. So thanks,
Yeah.
everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you being here. The majority of our viewers are all after the fact. So see you on the weekend, Fanny. Willie, you got the sandwiches? Bye, Sam. Don't mess up the house. Look at that
It's,
train.
you know, it's sad that there's a lot of people that wouldn't give this a second glance because it wasn't superheroes in the Bronze Age.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was, in a way, it's kind of ahead of its time, a leader, a pioneer, and they're not always appreciated when they blaze a trail.
Yeah, it was very landmark at the time. I think that it won a couple of awards, but not a lot of acclaim for what it was. Like I said, nobody had really done a slice of life graphic novel, at least not here in the States.
It made other slice of life things like Mouse possible.
Well, yeah, it did. And books like American Splendor sprung
American
up like
Splendor,
right after
yeah,
this. Yeah.
I've actually met the creator a couple times in 85
Yeah.
and 86 that did that. He's a
Harvey.
character.
He was, yeah.
Harvey, yeah.
But the only time I saw him in person, he was his character from the comics. He was sitting grumpy, arms crossed behind a table, waiting for people to come up and talk to him.
Exactly. I never, very self-assured. I kind of projected on him that would be maybe a little bit like Crumb was, although I never met Crumb, you know.
Yeah, Crumb was at the same show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was a New York show I went to, and the lead, the feature attraction, the e-ticket ride, literally, and they sold tickets. And you had a number on your ticket. You could only get in line when you were between the numbers that were called, and it was like an hour wait. The line was once it started in order to get over to talk to him. That was Jim Lee. Right as Image was blaring, and Crumb and Picard were both guests there at the same show. So I got to talk to Crumb for a bit, have a couple of books, Zap Comics signed by him. So there was hardly any appreciation for them being there, but all of these people, begging for this e-ticket ride to go and see Jim Lee.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah. They probably got that at most of the conventions they went to be truthful
during
about
that time. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
the first when Youngblood first came out. They set up a tent in the back lot of the Chicago Con, and they stayed out there 24/7 signing books. Liefeld did. So we set our alarms, got up at 4 a.m, and went out and had him sign our copies of Youngblood, just to see what was happening. They had a few people still out there talking to him. They were doing a marathon session, signing and talking. More train. That. Swing that camera up.
like the grading overlay there.
It's all line work. Oh, the grading.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's just amazing brushwork here. Humph, you think I don't know? Mr. Pather, a big Neuscher. The minute I'm away, he's gonna grab something. A chalet, sulk, and suksa. That's that word from the showroom. Peter, sit still. It's a long trip. You want a banana or something? Shuksha. I had that word last week.
It's a
Jewish word for loose woman, right?
something like that. It's a slur.
Yeah.
But yeah.
More train travel here. Inside, outside. Look at that. Beautiful.
I wonder if it's offensive today or not.
I'm sure it is. You don't hear it very often.
Well, it was in Seinfeld. There's a whole
It's
episode.
probably. Well, that was Seinfeld. So yeah, he was from the same area, only decades later.
Presumably, only Jewish people would know it, though.
No, I mean, it was. I guess if you lived in the area, you'd probably hear
Yeah.
it.
Probably pick it up. Yeah, it's a cultural word, slang, slander word. Yeah.
I think it's more like how the I don't know, in the show they suggest it's because for an outsider,
Okay.
right? Out of the tradition. So like a woman who is I guess dirty or unwanted because she's not part of the religion.
Okay.
So,
Well,
which was
because
what-
of that, they're
Uh-oh.
so.
no, we got canceled.
Did we? No, we didn't.
So what are you saying, Randy?
Too early in the morning for that. Anyway. Trains. They're traveling on a train.
Mhm. Finally get to see some silhouette.
Yeah. Not quite just shadow. Yeah. Going to Grossman's. And blowing a sax in the band. It's a free vacation. Lots of time to study. I'm waiting on tables. Lots of tips. Train's pulling out. We're on time.
Woo, woo.
There it goes. Out to the country. That's awesome. Another awesome page. Going out to the mountains.
He can draw
Yes.
for me anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Draw anything too.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking earlier with this train, a lot of artists wouldn't even want to tackle that, you know.
No.
He does it with such economy. Yeah, I mean, you
Oh,
don't have to
silhouette.
draw the whole train, but he did there in silhouette.
Here, yeah. And then
Yeah.
he draws the cars
then-
here.
A few individual cars, yeah.
That's the sign of a bad artist if they're not willing to draw something, or if they start complaining about the what they have to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the whole point of comic strip. It's a visual medium.
That's why they're
If as an artist, I mean we're all growing, we're all learning as we go.
Mhm.
But you should try not to be. You should at least try. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You should try to do it.
I
Because
agree. Go ahead.
if you can't, then you're never gonna be able to do it.
Yeah.
And you can always go back to the customer and be like, "Hey, this took way too long. Maybe we should renegotiate for this page or something." You know, you can always try to, instead of trying to get out of it and be like, "No, I'm too lazy to do this."
Willie, there's Fiegels. Stay with the
Yeah.
trunk. I'll get him to help Lotus.
Well, just with the angles, very cinematic.
Yeah.
You had to wonder about, I mean, the train station there,
Mhm.
setup shot almost reminds me of like Western film.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very much so. That old style engine too.
Waiting at the train station so they can shoot him dead on the platform.
High noon. And they take all the workers out to the different lodges and hotels.
Is this during the winter? Snow?
No, it's during the summer.
Oh,
They're on
okay.
vacation.
The kids in the tenement all get work in the Catskills, work in labor out there. So they get a vacation and a little money besides for the work that they do.
Guys, I'm gonna hop because there's a very active baby and I wouldn't be able to keep talking.
All right, Mike.
Baby alert!
See you,
Baby
man.
alert! Woo,
Yeah,
woo,
baby
woo.
alert. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you very much.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, no. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Take care.
When's your
And,
next podcast?
I'm probably going to join Sketchy Saturday tomorrow.
There you
And of course, every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, I do Hong and Animation.
There you go. All right, man. Take care.
See you,
Take
buddy.
care. See you
We'll see ya.
soon. Bye.
In the barn there.
Change of environment.
Very much so, yeah. Working vacation. Give you a coverage just for you. So you share with the other ladies. Start cooking early.
I grew up in the country, and you know, like I miss it sometimes. But when you grow up in it, and that's all you ever know, it's
Yeah.
you don't always miss it. But it is quite beautiful, and nice, and serene, and peaceful, and everything you can say about it. But it gets boring. But this was reminding me of of that social media post where that dude has never seen the stars, and he goes out to this, out to the country and sees the stars for the first time, and he's freaking out, and he's like, "Is it always like this?" It's like I grew up in that, environment where every night you could see the stars all across. Like sometimes you could even see the aurora borealis, or like the faintest hint of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the
Yeah.
lack of borders on his panels.
Yeah.
Love it. The way that his border is a part of the picture there on that top left. The grass is the border. Just brilliant.
Yeah, it is. Love it. This guy walks into the barn. Hey, what's new this year around here, Mr. Beagle? He says, well, this year we got entertainment. I built a casino out of the old barn. You can dance with the old ladies. Ha ha. So we ain't Grossmans. That's all milking a cow there.
Casting of shadow.
Yeah. There's Grossman's. A more fancier lodge. Danny. Who's here again this year? Danny the Toomler is now the social director. Okay.
He's not afraid of caricature, is he?
No.
I almost say that's his entire style, is caricature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, he could probably draw like perfect illustration. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't get like this without knowing your anatomy.
Right. And
Yeah, he's like Crumb. At times, you can pull off the most almost photorealistic look, but why bother when you're having fun doing this?
I personally prefer this kind of style, but
Yeah,
it's easy on the eyes.
this is like Dirty Dancing all over again. Only a different time.
Now you leave your personal life out of this.
I meant the movie.
Ah.
cold
Man.
shoulder.
Really? Yeah. Being attracted to him at all. Since I eat with the help, I want to be in the dining room with you, so maybe later after the dancing we could have a soda. Oh, so you're one of the help. Well, I'm busy. I'll be busy. Yes, I gotta wash my hair.
That one panel overlaid on the other, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Juan, what's wrong with me? Well, it's not you. It's just, well, I mean, socially, we're not equal. I didn't come up here just to meet a saxophone player. Okay, have it your way. See you around.
Looks dejected there, doesn't he?
I've been on the exact opposite end of this one, where I wasn't even interested in the young lady, but there was this indie band playing in the city, and they were just at the bar. And I'm a musician, and I frequented the bar, and I played there regularly. And I think it was an open mic. I couldn't remember, but the young lady was playing in this indie band. They couldn't play at all, didn't know any of the stuff, and I was just being friendly. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And just like, oh yeah, I like ninth chords, which is a chord you use in funk music. And then the young lady was like asking or saying, like, talking down to me, treating me like this person here, like, as if they were better than me because she was kind of like a musician. And then I asked her about the chords, and then she didn't even know music theory. She's like, oh, we don't use music theory at all. Like, I don't know it. I just play by feel. And then she goes up and plays, and she's awful.
Yeah, that's why you're crap.
Yep.
And then I go up and play, and I clearly know what I'm doing, but it's funny.
You said this was brushwork, but now did he do Quoquill or anything else?
As far as I know, he used Kalinsky brush on all of this.
Mm.
It's such a brush that you can get thin, thick lines, all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he used a crow quill on any of it. At least it doesn't look like it. All of this just looks like he might have done it back here. You see that gray tone? That's all real thin lines that he didn't fill in there. But everything else, all of this is brushwork here. You can see the open spaces there.
I think he left that out on purpose. I think he left that out on purpose, that blank, because he's got a half blank or three. He eases up on, well, I mean, I guess that's the edge of the board, right?
Yeah, there's a railing here.
Yeah.
The board's right there. The spot right there is wide open. Might have forgot to fill it in.
Might have.
This is all just beautiful line work back here.
Who published this?
This is Bardnet book.
Okay. What was the cost of this thing when it came out?
It's been reprinted a number of times over and over again.
Right.
This book was a whopping $4.95 when it came out.
$4.95. That was a lot of money back then.
Yep.
The original printing, $4.95.
Bargain.
Yeah.
And what was the page count on this thing? Do you
Probably
know?
close to 120 pages.
Wow.
Oh,
Beautiful stuff.
it looks like it's New York material here, all loose. Now, it almost looks like it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's nighttime.
Yeah, here it is. Stop singing, Abe, and dill the cods. Whatever that means. Boy, chick, I'm telling you, it's a Miha. A whole month we can play pinochle and no women to butter us. And the other guys butter us.
Yeah, he's like
no
stop
women.
singing. Aim deal the cards.
That's right. Deal the cards. Yeah.
It's like a Burkle.
You have to wonder that in maybe 30, 40 years, they'll look at some of what we do and say, look how they talked.
Exactly. Yep. Well, we're adapting that Robert E. Howard story that we did. The verbiage, the cadence is just completely different in a
Mhm.
couple of places. Very old English. You know, a lot of the descriptions are just phenomenal.
Get
You ever
people
heard-
thinking while they're reading.
Yeah, all in a language that in a style we wouldn't use today.
And which is almost becoming common parlance nowadays amongst the younger crowd and their slang. We're already there, Devil. My
Yeah.
friend, we're they like use like stuff like no cap, and I have no idea what that means.
Sus.
Yes, well, sus is from I know what that means, but
I know what that is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just Anyway,
But in 20, 30 years, will people know what it means?
what they're talking about? No, because
Or will they
slang.
still be using? I mean,
it's just like watching a great old hard-boiled detective movie
right?
from the 40s and 50s where they're calling everybody malls and
Mhm.
give me my
Yeah.
gat, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think slang is the stuff of the day. It's all
Yeah.
transitory.
Yeah.
You know, it comes and goes.
Always evolving.
Yeah.
There's
Well, they
another
haven't-
one. Another one
What?
that sprung up the last couple of years is calling stuff fire. That's fire. And every time I hear that, I think of Beavis and Butthead. Fire, fire, fire.
Corleone. Oh.
Exactly.
Whatever happened to knee slapper?
Corleone.
So I think it like even though slang changes, right?
Yeah, it does.
Like the language itself doesn't change that much. It'll take several hundred years for it to go
Yeah.
from like
Yeah.
old English to some kind of newfangled, kind of.
Oh, they
Yeah,
have
the
an
whole-
urban dictionary now, though,
Yeah. Yeah.
for all these things, and
Yep.
and like words like "ain't" that are not proper, they somewhat allow now.
Yeah.
Mm. But I mean,
Killer-
You know, if they're around long enough and the usage is enough.
when
Yeah.
was this written? When was Shadow Kingdom written?
In the mid to late 20s,
Yeah.
1920s. So it's over 100 years old, or at least
So-
about 100 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, there's just Cole recoiled at the foot of the stairs. Cole recoiled, at the foot of the stairs lay the 18 Red Slayers who were that night stationed to watch the king's study room. Now, just the way that those words work together,
Mhm.
that wouldn't be written that way these days. And that's a very simple piece. That's a very simple sentence from what we're doing, and yet
Yeah.
it's got rhythm to it.
Yeah.
The words have rhythm.
Mhm.
And I think at some point that's going to come back because it's a beautiful thing.
What I was saying though is the word isn't changed though. Like it's like it's not a completely different word. Like it's
No, I
no.
agree with you. Yeah,
like good morning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good morning isn't Guten Morgen.
Oh,
Good
right.
morning neighbor isn't Guten Morgen
Exactly.
Neighbor.
Whereas Old English is
Yeah.
really, there are different words, literally.
Yeah.
There's even a slightly different alphabet. So, I think you're right. I think the language will stay the same. It's just where people are using colloquialisms, slang,
Yeah.
sometimes just being lazy, to be perfectly
Yeah.
honest.
You know,
I like
a
to
good
think of
ru-
it kind of
Yeah.
like, if I jump in here for a second, I like to think of it like when you're looking at like a movie in the past, looking at the future, like Blade Runner or
Mm.
the stuff that came out in like the early 60s or 70s, and they're looking at the year 2000, you got flying cars and whatever else, or you're looking at Back to the Future, and we're past that time and we got flying car, stuff like that. So it's when we're looking ahead at this stuff in like 20 years, it's probably not going to be that much different than it is now. Like
No.
that's why I suggest hundreds of years before. Well,
Well, in
Absolutely.
Blade Runner, they actually had a street
sorry.
speak, didn't they? It was a particular dialect, and I think that something similar to that does exist.
Mhm.
But it's not prevalent across large numbers of people.
No.
If you look at a King James Bible from 1611, it's hard to read, but it's not impossible.
Right.
Mm.
And that's a few hundred years. You still read it. Or it may take you a little discernment about what's being said, but you can read it. And it's went through like 3 or 4 changes since then, overhauls, but you can still read it, and that's hundreds of years ago. But I think this is the power of dialogue, the word, that you can see the visuals and get the story. But what I like to get out of comics is from my imagination as well, inspiration, where the dialogue may suggest other imagery to me that's not on the page.
Well, that's why comics
The
is such a
comics that I
powerful
really like are
storytelling.
the ones that inspire me.
Yeah. But
And
that's why
give
comics is the most powerful storytelling medium, because it does everything. It shows you and it inspires your imagination.
and maybe the most underrated.
Oh, without doubt.
You ever read a Clockwork Orange?
No, I've not read it. No.
I've not read it. I've seen the movie. Yeah. Kubrick.
I haven't read it myself. A friend of mine did, but apparently it's all in Droog speak, right? So this is the language that they're using in the movie. And there's another interesting,
the narration, McDowell's narration
from the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating, concept.
He's got to cut his card game short. Says he's got to go visit his Aunt Millie. She had an attack yesterday.
Oh, sorry.
That Aunt
Hope Millie's okay.
She got an attack today. Suddenly, he runs off to his mistress. First, Sam, you ain't been around since Easter. Don't worry, I got a month. We got a month together. So my wife's gone to the country.
Well, okay, topless.
Yeah, we're getting canceled again.
He didn't seem to care about that, did he?
We'll see. Yeah.
Although I think the whole book is filled with themes,
real life.
Yeah.
He's drawn her very well.
Yeah. What do I have, Sam? Leave your wife. Tell her this weekend. Oy vey, it'll kill her. She ain't a well woman. Damn, it's getting late.
Oh, hell, we got some nudity here.
Ain't no chickens, Yeah, I can. Yeah. Just lines, folks. Just lines on.
It's all right. It's not 100% sharp. The nipples aren't throwing themselves out.
We're more than an hour in, so I'm sure my camera's out of focus already.
Yeah.
Are they talking about, when she mentions chickens, are they alluding to the age? We're not spring chickens anymore.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Glenn Fleming says reading A Clockwork Orange is like reading Shakespeare and Homer, a nightmare at the start, but worth it when you get into it.
There you go. Once you get into the rhythm of the speak, it probably gets a lot easier the farther in you go.
Kind of like
Gillard, happy you're here. Just wanted to say, we see you there. Same thing with Bone. Nice to see you out there. Ice Queen in the house. Bone says hello. Caroline, happy Friday. Where was that line up here? Oh, Bone says Beavis and Biden.
The work here on the page is just so much lively without I know he has some panels here, but it's just open and breathes.
Mm-hmm.
Every page open and breathe the way he's laid it out.
Yeah, uses the truck window as panel border here.
As the framing, yeah. Or like looking under a staircase, or just very cinematic.
Yeah. The only reason for a panel border here is to make sure that it's different scenes.
Right.
Separate the openness here and here.
I wonder why he wasn't a fan of them.
Go ahead.
So I wonder why he wasn't a fan of using them.
Using what?
Borders.
Borders, just to make it more open.
Yeah.
More open, the easier it is for your eye to follow and read. Ooh, look at our Willie dancing with Mrs. Minx. A man already.
Yeah, I mean, like that top panel, if you can call it that, on the second page. There's no need to hem that thing in.
No.
You're looking at the great outdoors.
Yeah. And here he's boxed in because he's sitting in the truck.
Right.
It's like bored. He's watching the scenery. Yeah.
The space you occupy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He did throw a gutter, sort of like a gutter between the in the first page, if you call it the panel on the left, and then the bottom one, right? You can see there's a clear
continuation.
Yeah.
Which helps move the eye from left to right.
Yep.
That's what the elbow does for sure, because you're like
kicks it down here.
pretty much almost every line on that, like angle of his hand, the jowl or the cheek or jawline. His eye is looking down at the thing. The other guy, the guy in the front's jawline, the elbow, all of it's kicking you down to the left.
Yeah, it's all thought out composition just to keep the flow going. Even this scene here kicks you out to the next page. Coming in.
I guess he would pencil this in and then start inking it.
Yeah.
Get it like he wanted it. I had to wonder, though, with his use of shadow and open space, like just that open space of that doorway. You know, that door on that car is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wonderful framing.
Yeah.
Your mind fills it in. It's kind of like Joe Kubert with Why Draw Feet in High Detail. That was his, we all know what a foot looks like and leave something for your mind to fill in the gaps.
Uh-huh.
No need to fully render everything.
She should keep her hands off him. He's only 15. He's got the Charlie Brown stripe working on his vest there.
Again, from a modern lens, this is pretty heavy stuff when it comes to age.
Yeah. Then you have your Walton Mountain moment. Good night, Mrs. Farrell. That was a nice dance. Good night. Good night,
John Boy.
Where's Willie Ann? He's going to sleep in the barn. Come on up to bed, Sam. Yeah, good night, John Boy. And then we cut back to the guy and his mistress.
Oh,
no, different guy. No, that's
okay.
still that's still here in the country. Stop, Sam. The walls
Same girl, different guy.
Yeah, husband and wife there.
Okay.
They're out on their vacation here. Walls are paper thin. So we're man and wife, ain't we? Some man and wife. You think I don't know about your shuksha? Maybe if you was more interested in sex. Don't use dirty words. Look at me, I'm fat and old with an ugly body with hands like sandpaper from the housework. I got high blood pressure also. So what do we do? A divorce? So I ain't giving you a divorce. We got kids to think of. You want to play around with your shuksha? Go ahead. Shiksha?
Shiksa.
Shiksa. I can't get that word right.
Shik and then sa.
Shiksa. I'll hide it from the kids so they won't be ashamed.
And more nudity.
Sounds like an open invite.
Sneaking out to the barn. Yep. Sorry, folks.
Little roll in the hay.
Literally.
Yeah.
So I guess he's encountered this a couple times in his through stories through his neighbors or
That's why they love going to the country.
It's life.
Country Joe and the fish.
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah.
A very good it's life, yeah, but his life is very heavy and hard.
What, you
Well,
think threesomes and sex didn't happen 30, 50 years ago?
No, I know
It's
they
been
did
going
that.
on for thousands of years.
No, I'm just
Yep.
saying his Will Eisner's life experience is very heavy.
It's
Maybe
like
you
real
just
life.
listened. It's real life.
Yeah, it's like real life. Comes up to see Willie, Mrs. Minx. She's gonna get a roll. Brought you a blanket. You were so cold.
If things
I am
don't turn around,
personally-
though,
Yeah. I'm personally offended by the fact that we have to put that yellow sticker over that.
I'm just being overly
No,
cautious.
no. I understand what you're doing. Totally agree. You're not offending me. The culture is offending me.
Yep. The other ones I think we can get away with, but she's pretty, so somebody's bound to complain.
yeah.
Canceled again.
The old and fat with rough
Leave it.
hands we didn't have to worry about. But
No,
this
that's
Yep.
fine.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm afraid so. And as cruel as that sounds, it's what it is.
Turned up nips and a flat tummy. No, we're
Yep.
getting cancelled.
Well, there's all you
How
scoop
dare
around
you.
on the reels on Facebook. There's all these breastfeeding reels that are popping up. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just an excuse to show breast. Yes. Crazy.
Russ like that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
You don't ruin that book for the sake of a nip.
oh, there's a lot of
There's
nips.
still more nips here anyway.
There we are.
It's just non-stop nip.
Just a couple. No, not really. There we are. They get caught rolling in the hay.
A little bit of violence there.
So
Yeah.
I might have known my Maryland in the hay with a kid. Ha. Irving.
I wonder how much, just looking at this, how much Bruce Timm has studied
Because look at that.
Will
face.
Eisner.
Them
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah, the simplicity of his work. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my
Look at
God.
that hand, the way he slapped her there, and the way the
Yeah.
hand's bent over to
Mhm.
accentuate what is the movement.
That wasn't a love tap
No,
by any
No,
means.
no, he means it.
I heard you were up to your old tricks.
Are
Also, I
those
seen
lines
that
going
line
up from the on that last panel? Is that supposed to be hay standing straight up? What is that?
Could be. Yeah.
It's
Could
like
be
it's
hay,
almost on
yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
Yep. Just hay. Yeah. Nicely covered bottom of the feet there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The
And
blanket. Yeah.
she likes her boys young as well.
Yeah.
That's
what the guy's complaining about. Yeah. Caught her in the act.
Well, yeah, like the actual age as well. It's wow.
He's like,
Yep.
Oh my God.
yeah, it's a double-edged sword here because you're like,
Yeah.
you don't like to see it, like the
Mhm.
violence against
Smacked her
women,
again.
Yeah.
but like she deserves a smack almost. You know what I mean?
Again, keeping only a
She's-
sexist would say. Yeah.
Something
Keep in
only a
mind that
sexist
the
would say.
context of the time. Yeah.
She is actually a criminal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
It's
that
true.
were the other way around and you said, oh, that guy deserves a slap, you would be commended for saying such a thing.
that's why it's like a double-edged,
Yeah.
double-edged sword.
Yeah. It's very hypocrisy. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
say you'll do it.
Like, let the kid just grow up. Like Jesus.
Taking her out of the dark into the light.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's.
She ended up doing Irving just to keep him from beating on her.
Mm.
Come here, going up to your room.
So he's just
No kidding. He's
Almost
only
as bad as
15.
she is. Sorry.
Wow. Yeah, I can see where this would
Petrified,
be. You wouldn't be able to do
Yeah.
this today. Yeah.
Yeah, this is serious.
Meanwhile, literally back at the ranch.
I see what you did there.
It's pretty classic here at Grossman's.
Lovely view from the field where it's all black, and then
Yeah.
moving across the landscape there, past the fence
Mhm.
into the house itself. It's great.
Mhm.
That's masterful. That's
And-
amazing.
Yep.
He probably thought, man, I put a lot of work on that one page. It's a lot of ink
Mm.
compared to what he normally does.
Yeah, it's nighttime though. It just
But it suits it.
pops
Yeah.
out. Yeah, it's got a lot of line work up here. Just beautiful
Mhm.
stuff. A tree in silhouette, a few flowers, and then
Which is
zooming
kind of
in,
brought
zooming in
over
with
from
the
that
branch.
first panel all the way to the second page on the bottom panel with the grain of the bed,
Mm.
Yeah.
but in another direction.
hmm
He's like not throwing any punches at all with this whole story.
This is a very adult story. Yeah. Only it's strategically hidden.
I know the Eisner Awards and all that, but I've got to wonder in 50 years, if you don't turn the culture around, how people like they'll probably say Eisner was a troglodyte. I mean, I think you
Yeah.
look at
Oh,
some
they're
of
already
the
trying. Yeah, they're
well,
already trying to do
not
that.
only this, but you go back and you look at his spirit stuff where you had that's Black's what is it? Black's exploitation.
Yeah, he had a lot of that even before he passed. He made a big point to say that was the way it was at the time.
At the time,
That's everybody drew African Americans that way. That's the
Right.
way they were drawn. So that's the way he drew them, and he realizes now that it's under more modern context. That's not the way you treat
Right.
that ethnicity.
Yeah. I think
That's what context is all about. That's why it's
That's
important.
so true. Yep.
It's
Exactly.
important
Very
to
true.
understand that he, as part of that period of time,
Right.
because that's the way so many people thought. And we talk about the monoculture now. That's what happens when you have a culture that doesn't allow you to think outside the box. You do things, and then later on, as the culture changes, you realize that those things weren't right. I mean, he was a heartfelt apology by him
Yeah, it
about
was.
those versions of what he was doing. And that's all part of the man. That's all part of the reason why there's a bloody Eisner Award, is because he was a visionary. He did so many good things, and and then when he saw the mistake, called it out for himself. The idea that you would get rid of him because historically, now things look slightly different. It's like that's like removing history itself.
I like placing myself back in that time. I may not like all the things of it, the segregation or racism, blah, 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 whatever that might have been around at that time. Had I actually, transported myself back to the 30s, I might have hated it. But, I think we do ourselves an injustice where we almost rewrite things when we don't try and place ourselves back in that time and see from their perspective.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's like the old cliche: how do you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's so passe.
There's this historical piece. I think it was a Duke that wrote it, and it's like these memoirs or a journal or something, and it's the most degenerate thing you could possibly ever imagine and most disturbing stuff, but it's historically significant because he's like a famous lord or something like that, and he was above the law, like so they couldn't jail him, but allegedly when I saw this on the documentary, you can still get the works of his stuff, and he said everything that all the degenerate stuff you can get. So like it's just history is there, and sometimes it's just not
well, I think we're in an age where because of the way things are done, talent is overlooked, but also there's a lot of laziness, and
Yeah.
people don't want to work hard at their talent, which means that the easiest way to get on is to remove those people that are talented. That's the easiest way to do it, and that's what a lot of the rubbish that's been going on is about certain people wanting to be able to, write, create, whatever. Let's get rid of the talented people, and what you do is you call them out for something that's a hideous thing. But much like I know somebody like Cthulhu, what's his name?
Lovecraft.
Lovecraft. Like Lovecraft was a racist. Okay.
Yeah.
But his works were what they were. Take them for what they are. Okay. If you look far enough back, I'm sure that somebody like William Shakespeare was probably racist, simply because he lived in a country that, whatever we argue about now, was white. Okay. And ignorance is what happens to you when you're cut off from everything else. So you've got to take the works on their own merit.
If you canceled everything, we wouldn't have a culture left.
Exactly.
Most
And
of it would be canceled.
of course, by doing that, so for instance, you had for a while ago, you had this, Lovecraft should be cancelled. We should never look at any of that stuff because he was a racist. It's like, yeah, you're right, he was, but the reason that they want that out the way is so that they can write their own Lovecraftian stuff, which is nowhere near as good.
Right.
And I know there's a very simple way of looking at it, but it's kind of, it is part of the zeitgeist. It's part of what's going on. You get rid of all that great stuff, and it means that what have you got yourself to compare yourself to?
Even the horrible stuff, right? Like that Lord's work, right? That stuff is bad, but there's historical record of it.
Exactly.
And, people buy, affluential people buy the book to I obviously don't have a copy because it's apparently really disturbing. But the thing is, like, it's a piece of history, so they study it as a part of it. So, like, you don't get history is ugly. You don't get rid of it simply because you don't like the context. You don't like what it's about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's it's very important. The only way to beat bad ideas is by hearing them out in the light and beating them with good ideas. That's it. You don't beat them by banning them, because then they become attractive.
We won't learn from history if we block it. Yep.
The seaworthiness of a society is also the barnacles that are on the bottom of the ship. It may not be beautiful, but it's part of the ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's seaworthiness, if you don't clean that stuff off. And I'm afraid that we're afraid to really look at the underbelly of things and call them out for what they are. And it's a bait and switch. And with society today, people calling out certain things are the ones that are kind of covering up different aspects of culture that they would rather not face, and trying to superimpose their own worldview. And what makes their worldview in fact, if you put it under a microscope, it probably falls apart. It has, because they're just repeating the same old, and revisionist history. I really think that they're going to say, man, the 21st century got off to a really bad start, and man, were they troglodyte in their thinking,
especially since we'd started to get somewhere by the end of the 20th century
with the new millennium, with great promise, and so far we're limping along like a three-legged dog. Maybe not even that well as a society, as a world.
Such a odd change from what it was exactly 100 years ago.
Well, what was amazing, I could see it maybe happening in America, during the pandemic. But I mean, again, so many different countries just have went batshit crazy.
Well, again, monoculture.
Mhm.
It's people. I mean, that particular thing is an awful lot of
Groupthink.
people at the top who are cowardly and
Mhm.
won't do the right thing.
Right.
All that stuff is just about, how can I protect my position and keep it going. It's
And
not about what's
kick the
best for
can down
people.
the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't address the problems.
Yeah. Yeah. How do I
So-
get elected in next time? That's simply it.
That's I know it is all about electioneering.
It's
By the time you would gear up to do anything,
yeah.
I mean, you never stop really electioning. With
Mm.
you need to either have term limits or you need to have lengthier. That won't work because it's
Yeah.
just
It's
vying for power.
short-termism. It's short-termism, and it happens everywhere in the Western world, unfortunately.
Your mindset is just on the here and now, and
Yeah.
I think it is short-sighted thinking.
Which is weird because back in the day, 2, 3, 4, 500 years ago, you think about when they were building massive architecture and what have you. A lot of people that worked on big buildings didn't see the end of it.
No.
They were building it, and then their children would continue building it. It would be a legacy item. They believed so much in whatever the zeitgeist was at the time that they were prepared to put all their effort into the building of a project and not be around to see the end of it. It was a generational thing, multi-generational thing. Whereas now everything's just quick.
Well, some plant the tree, some water it, some pick the fruit.
Yeah.
Some never see the fruit.
Yeah. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of us still, when you think about, I think the other thing is, we talk about family and generational and all the rest of it, that kind of stuff. And the family unit, it makes a big difference. I consider the stuff that I leave, it's not just monetary. What I can leave my children is important. And if in some way it can help the wider society around them, I don't know what it might be. I've got no delusions of grandeur, but if you can, I think it's a really good thing to see that way. And I think having families, having kids, actually it encourages that kind of thought process that you want to leave something. You want to. It's not just about I want to be remembered, but you actively want to do something useful.
Want to leave a legacy.
It's not just about legacy. It's
Right.
just leaving something useful, more than just passing your house on to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
But that approach to the world it's not common, I don't think.
Is it an outgrowth of meism, the me
Yeah.
generation?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that.
More selfishness in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot more selfishness.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Yeah.
look at this.
Yeah, this story, they find out that they compare notes and realize that neither one of them's rich. So Benny here goes through and rapes her.
Oof.
Oh, wow.
And she comes back to the house, and the trumpeter guy that she snubbed earlier takes her in.
This whole story started out like wholesome. Everybody's going off for a vacation, and just went off a cliff.
She's freaking now that she's ruined. Herbie there says he'll take her in. He goes and tracks Benny down. Benny's trying to hit on another girl who's actually rich. He pulls Benny to the side and verbally humiliates the crap out of him. He's physically a coward, sexually a coward. And
God,
he attacks him.
The bottom.
He attacks him right at his manhood.
Yeah,
not a stupid guy. The
no
trumpeter dude is, and says, dude, you didn't defile her. You didn't even penetrate her.
You didn't even get.
You're
that
sick.
Far.
You need to see a therapist. You need to see a doctor.
You didn't even get that
need
far.
Medical help. You understand?
Using that post between them as a visual for them being
wow,
separate.
John Freeman's here. Sorry, I didn't see you in the chat there, John.
Yep.
Yeah, using that post as a division. Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Here
In
too.
both those.
Yep. Just greatly done. It says,
We
what
got
do you know? I mean, how did you know that about me? It says, I'm a doctor, Benny. Believe me, I know.
Brilliant.
Says, why don't we both keep quiet about this? Don't ever mention Goldie's name ever. Okay, okay. He says, and he goes back to his game plan. What
Wow.
was that about, Benny? I'm or some guy's advice about his girl. Oh. Okay, Benny, you must be a he devil with the girls. You're so sophisticated. So, yeah. So when am I gonna meet your folks? He wants to get married to a girl who's rich. Says, and so the summer ends and the migratory birds, and like migratory birds, the vacationers return to the sanctuary of their tenement where normal life resumes.
Normal
Real.
life.
Beautiful. Look at that.
Yep.
We had quite an audience today. We had quite a lot of people in the chat.
Yeah, there is. So Goldie, he had a good vacation. Yeah, I met a doctor.
I
We're
am
getting
sad I'm
married in
past
2 months. Yeah. Mazel tov, it says. Well, Benny, back from the mountains. So how was it? Great. I'm quitting this job. I'm marrying a girl. I met her. Her father is taking me into the diamond business. Yeah. Says, and no, Willie, the vacation's over already, so start getting ready for school. This year, you're going to have lots of responsibility around here. Your father is going to be traveling a lot. So Yiz'll be the man of the house now. You hear me, Willie? Willie's all depressed.
That's the boy that was
That was the
in
kid,
the hayloft. Yeah.
Got an hardcore exposure to real life. Literally. John says we won't learn from history. Yep. Devil flyers in the house.
Look, I love the overview of the city.
Yeah.
From the fire escape, and just
Mhm.
I mean both pages, just the way they're. Look how haphazard. I mean, he tilts the first.
Here. Yep.
Yeah.
In the background here, in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of
Back
the
in the
point,
city.
though, because
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. Skewer the.
it's a crooked ending,
Well, even
It is.
the bottom panel under that, it's not as tilted as much, but it is tilted the opposite way there.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite square up. Almost looks like pencil work that hasn't been inked, doesn't it? At some point.
Yeah, beautiful thin ink lines here.
Uh-huh.
Especially back here. Close on the line.
Close
Keep
on the
it a little
line,
straight.
yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff really existed even in the 60s to a certain degree. I mean, they, I remember that episode where Kirk and Spock, go back in time and have to steal some clothes off a line to blend
City
in.
on the Edge of Forever.
Yeah, right.
My favorite Trek episode.
Harlan Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
Little Joan Collins action.
Just a great episode. That's it.
A love story.
Yes. One of the few times they allowed him to say hell on TV.
How would you summarize this book?
Very much a slice of life, a set of memories from Eisner's past.
Mm-hmm.
Not kiddie content for sure.
No, it delves into some heavy themes, doesn't it?
Real heavy. Yep.
You wouldn't know it by the start of it.
No, it says a new dimension in storytelling. Will Eisner, creator of the world-famous comic The Spirit, has been an outstanding innovator in narrative art for over 30 years. Now he travels the tenement. He revisits the tenement life of the Depression years in a powerful collection of graphic stories about people struggling to survive and make their way upward. Meet Fremy Hirsch, who makes a contract with God. Eddie, the street singer, who is offered the chance of a lifetime. Mr. Scuggs, the super, who is seduced into a mortal struggle. Benny and Goldie, who desperately seek a rich mate in the country with the stunning art. Eisner presents these dramas in a unique format that transcends anything that has come before.
There we are, folks. A Contract with God and Other Tenement Stories by Will Eisner.
Beautiful. There you go, kids. You want to
Oh,
know how to draw
Billy.
comics?
Want to know how to draw comics? There you are.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the way to do it.
There you go. Everybody in the chat. Billy, is this Billy Power Max? Saying hail to everyone. Glad you're here, Billy. Hail, hail. Ice Queen, hail. It's this Bible study almost.
No, this is sequential art study.
This is almost a Bible.
Now, after this tome, where do we go from here?
Next week, I'm thinking we're going to do a change of pace.
We got barbarians coming, haven't we?
Yeah, we got barbarians coming. This Sunday, I found this Conan book that was really fascinating. We'll look at that.
on Sunday Funnies. Conan
yeah,
and the
that
Jewels of Gwalor.
Yeah, that was a comic series. I have some of those.
Adapting
You know
a
what?
Robert E. Howard story by the great P. Craig Russell, who really surprised me because I never thought his style would lend to the hard barbarian that Conan is. He's did such a great job on the Elric run.
You know, it's really funny. We're going from barbarism to barbarism. You know, like we're
Very much so, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
one's a
Yeah.
barbarian
True.
and one's it's
Yep.
just which
Yeah,
one's
but
worse.
we're all just monkeys out the trees underneath our clothes. Yeah.
Yeesh. Yeah. Yep.
Just had to
And
go
then-
there, didn't you, Russ?
Yeah. Just get rid of the veneer of civilization. That's all we are.
Yeah. You just
Next
had to rip
Friday-
the scab off.
This is what I'm thinking for next Friday. I found this beat up old copy
Oh,
of
Ooh,
Almuric,
yeah. Cool.
which is a kind of Robert E. Howard's version of John Carter of Mars.
wow. Well,
Cool.
I've never seen this one.
No, I didn't know this existed.
Drawn or written, adapted, I should say, by Roy Thomas,
Roy Thomas. Yeah.
and drawn by Tim Conrad.
You get that for $3, Randy?
That's
Actually,
an early graphic
I
novel.
picked it up for a lot less than that. I tried selling it at a rummage sale or something. It's all beat up.
How dare you?
But the artwork is incredible.
Why would you sell it?
Well, I didn't, so I kept it.
Yeah.
The artwork's incredible.
We'll take a look at that next week.
Cool.
Jeez.
You know, if I had all of the books that I owned, I'd need a bigger house.
Yeah, I can't say that, but I'd be a lot richer.
I don't know. I'd probably be a little poorer, but I'd have a lot more books. So, there we are. I want to thank everybody for stopping by today. Our audience is huge, especially for 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody that's stopping by. We hope you had a good time and at least enjoyed going through that iconic book as much as we did. Deeply appreciate you being here. We know the majority of our viewership is after the fact. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you leave a like or a some sort of comment on whatever platform you're watching us from. We are on multiple platforms. The Indie Comics Network YouTube channel is the primary one where we're all archived over there. There is the Comic Book Black Belt YouTube channel, the Randy Zim YouTube channel. Also has practically all of our episodes there. And
Whiskey has a Rumble channel. What is that? Bayonet and Ricochet.
Bayonet Ricochet.
Over on Rumble, where he's starting to archive the shows over there as well. And we deeply appreciate everybody watching, no matter where or when you did. So Levi says, thanks. Thank you for all
I'm
that.
archiving
Levi,
it
for
on
being here.
stone
For the excellent
tablets as
show.
we speak.
Deeply appreciate you, Levi, being here.
I'm old.
So, yeah, Russ, you ready to go live and tell folks where they can find you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right.
You can put up what I'm doing at the moment, if you like, while I'm talking.
All right, there
you
we
can
go.
Find us.
Look at that.
Find me on russleach.com. Sign up for the email list there, please, so I can keep you abreast of what's going on. And you can find out more about me there, russleach.com. All my social medias are there. You can also find this book, The Shadow Kingdom, which we're just compiling for print now. And that's over at fundmycomic.com. The Shadow Kingdom. There you go.
Are you doing the coloring, Russ?
Colors done. Yeah, I did the coloring on this. Colors are all done.
Okay. Yeah.
And Randy's done the lettering, and I'm just applying it to the color pages now. So yeah, we're close now.
Randy, you're
muted.
muted.
Sorry.
Lip sync.
I was hacking along there. So it's a faithful adaptation to the story. Nobody wants to hear me hacking. Anyway, faithful adaptation to the story. We tried to keep as much of the prose there as possible, but it's definitely show don't tell. So there's a lot of great Howard passages in there. So can't recommend the book enough.
Yeah, some great text in there, and if all goes well, we'll be doing more in the future.
Says the story that literally kicked off the sword and sorcery genre. There were a couple of stories earlier with knights or barbarians and swords and mystical stuff, but they attribute this story as being the start of the genre, and it's got just about every element of the genre that you could ever want.
Might as well start at the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great story. Can't recommend it enough. Fundmycomic.com right now, folks. Go over there and take a look at the Shadow Kingdom. Whiskey, tell folks how they can find you.
Sure. You can find me at the old X there in the bottom left. You just type that into Google and something will come up. When it does come up, it might look something like this here, Bayonet and Ricochet Art or Arts. And yeah, you can give me a follow on the on there. If you click on this link here, you can see some of my work on 3D modeling. And I do production level modeling for all kinds of stuff, miniatures, action figures, anything, any style, any kind of stuff you want, you could possibly imagine, I can make.
All right. Rex, tell folks how they can find you. If you want to be found, I guess.
On the Twitter, right. I'm in the witness protection program
with
at the moment.
with a killer satellite. That's with.
There we are.
That's right. Yeah, but we're bouncing off several. Yeah. No, they can find me over on the X on Instagram under Rex Christian on Facebook. I know you guys like Facebook, and do a daily show on YouTube, among other things. And Fund My Comic, Devil Flyer.
Devil Flyer at Fund My Comic, folks. Go look it up.
Mm-hmm. We're in our last 30 days.
Yep. And you're in your last 30 days?
Last 30 days, yeah.
Folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. Deeply appreciate, again, you stopping by. Hope you enjoy our show. Hope you enjoy the archives. You get a chance to look at that. And Sunday mornings, we do it all. The Sunday Funnies there as well, 9 a.m. Eastern time. This Sunday, we are going to be looking through that Conan book. Like I said, there's a lot of great stuff to see over there as well in the Sunday's Funnies program, the Indie Comics Network, Comic Book Black Belt, Randy Zim YouTube channel, and Whiskey's Rumble, as well as who knows where else you might find us. So, we'll see you then, folks. We'll be back Friday morning, 5 a.m.
to do this all again. Deeply appreciate you being here. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for the chat. Good conversation. Great stuff to see. There's so much great sequential artwork out there for you to find. And you never know where you'll find them. I always tell folks to go visit their local retailer, look at those boxes closest to the floor. You never know what great gems you're going to run across and what great bargains you can find there as well. And your local retailer will appreciate you patronizing them, believe me. So we need more readers in this business. If you love comics, tell people you love comics. Give away comics as a gift. And let's can or at least cut short this negativity, guys. Hating ain't creating. So let's go out there and make comics. Make good comics. Make the best comics that you can. And tell the world. You know, anything else, folks? We'll see you.
Yeah.
See you next time. See you soon.
That's
a couple of bumps and we'll be out of here. Take care, everyone. Want to thank Mike Jimmy also for stopping by. Glad he was here.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe on our
nappy out, Jimmy.
Yeah. On our way out, we can remind you of the immortal words of Mr. Groucho Marx, who says, outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read.
Wah, wah.
Wah, 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 wah.
And that's
Take
the most
care,
ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Exactly. Most ridiculous thing.
Good night, Miss Calabash.
That was Jimmy Durante, by the way.
I know.
Okay.
Don't correct me, Rand.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
If you look at something and there's nothing there, what's the difference of figuring out what it was in the first place?
Holy shit. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce.